Jabrowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President and distinguished delegates, in introducing the Chapter 3, Part 3 of the Conference Draft Report, which covers the plenary debate, I should also like to point out that it will not be possible to present to the conference the complete summaries of the proceedings in plenary on the committee reports, nor upon the closing ceremonies. The report, which will cover the 15 and the 16 plenary sessions, will be still presented to all of you today in the afternoon as addendum 2 to the document. The others parts will be incorporated in the final report together with the decisions of the conference and the annexes setting out the documents submitted to the conference. Mr. President, I am sure that the conference will appreciate the reasons for this and will follow the practice in previous conferences in entrusting the Rapporteur General and the Secretariat with preparing the final report, with introducing all the necessary language corrections and some minor amendments, and then to present the report to the ECOSOC and to the General Assembly. Introducing the part of the report which is presented now to the deliberation of the plenary, I do not intend, Mr. President, to report orally on everything what is written and in front of the distinguished delegates, but I nevertheless like to use this opportunity to express my sincere thanks, first to the friends of the rapporteur, and then to the number of delegations and delegates who were kind enough to help and to support the Rapporteur General in his work through the whole period of our conference. Their assistance and their remarks helped substantially in the preparation of the draft which is now in front of you. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the Rapporteur General of the Conference for his report. May I remind delegations wishing to submit non-substantive textual amendments or corrections in translation that they should give them to the Rapporteur General in writing. I suggest to the conference that it consider this document in sections rather than paragraphs, or by paragraph, and I propose that we divide the document into sections as follows. The first, paragraphs 1 to 3, the second, paragraphs 4 to 17, third, paragraphs 18 to 24, next, paragraphs 25 to 32, and fifthly and finally, paragraphs 35 and 36.
33.
What's that? 33, 33, 32, 36. If there is no comment on that, we may proceed with paragraphs 1 to 3. If there is no comment on paragraphs 1 to 3, they can be considered adopted. Next, paragraphs 4 to 17. Yes, Mr. Rapporteur General.
One, I have to minor amendment of my own. Namely, in paragraph 16, there was a mistake in typing, and in the fourth line from the bottom, instead of planning production, these are the two last words in the fourth line from the bottom, it is the primary production. At the same time, Mr. President, I would like to inform that I have to some of the paragraphs in this group some suggestions, mostly of linguistic character. They were presented to me by some delegates, which I will take into account when working on the final form of the report. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the Rapporteur General, and I presume he will submit that change which he has just made in writing. The next, then, is there any comment on further comment on paragraphs 4 to 17? I take it then that that is the wish of the conference to adopt that. Paragraphs 18 to 24. The Rapporteur General.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to suggest the change of one of the paragraphs in that group. My proposal follows the consultations which I had in the very last days with the interested countries. My proposal relates to paragraph 24, and I propose to substitute the present text by the new one, which I will read with your permission, Mr. President. The new text of paragraph 24 reads: the head of the Cyprus delegation stressed the settlement problems that arose from the Turkish invasion and occupation of part of Cyprus and the expulsion of 1/3 of the population from their homes and the consequential great human suffering. The Turkish delegate, referring to the sufferings of Turkish Cypriots for the past 12 years and what he described as the unconstitutional acts by Greek Cypriots, said that he rejected this unfounded allegation and that the Cyprus problem can only be settled through intercommunal talks. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chabrowski. Are there any comments on paragraphs 18 to 24? Then we assume those are approved by the conference and move to paragraphs 25 to 32. Are there any comments on paragraphs 25 to 32? If not, we can move then. Oh, I recognize the distinguished representative of the Palatine Liberation Organization.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm sorry that you have not seen my hand before. I wish to make reference to paragraphs 21 and 22. I don't feel that paragraph 21 and 22 reflect adequately the views expressed by our delegation and delegations of the Arab countries. We have linked very closely the situation of our people and their dispossession with those of South Africa, Namibia, and Rhodesia. And we don't feel that this has been covered or expressed adequately in this regard.
I will ask the Rapporteur General, Mr. Chabrowski, to respond, please.
I would like to ask the distinguished representative of PLO to propose to me the exact text of the amendment he wishes to have. Now, immediately, if it is possible, of course.
No, I will pass it to you later on. Shortly, I do not have it prepared. I just glanced the document now. I have not had a chance to read it completely before. So I will pass it on to you.
A point of order. The distinguished representative of Israel.
I would like to ask the chair if it is possible, according to accepted procedure, to bring to the forum, to the plenary session, something that never was seen before and perhaps never heard before.
I would like to call on the Rapporteur General to respond, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. President, first, if there are any amendments at all, they must be presented to me now immediately, and I must present those amendments to the plenary. I can't accept at present any other amendments. They will be given to us on the later time or later date. Secondly, I can't also accept from any party any amendment they will suggest insertion of anything what was not said and presented to us at the time of the general debate, of course.
I thank the Rapporteur General and recognize the representative of the PLO.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do not wish to complicate the proceedings of this conference, neither to disrupt it. I will just be brief. I will be satisfied if on Article 21, line 4, a correction be made after in South Africa, comma, Southern Rhodesia, comma, Namibia, and Palestine. That would be sufficient in our view.
A point of order, distinguished.
Was in the committee as an amendment, or it was born just now?
I shall call on the Rapporteur.
I call the attention of this distinguished delegate that this is not the report of any committee. This is the report on the plenary debate, and on the basis of that, what was said at the plenary debate. At the plenary debate, there were references made to all those countries referred here in paragraph 21, and I feel personally that the proposed amendment by the distinguished delegate of PLO may be accepted.
I'm sorry, the distinguished
I accept it.
I thank the distinguished representative of Israel. Then the distinguished representative of Somalia.
Mr. President, I wish to just point out that the message delivered by me from the President of the Supreme Revolutionary Council has not been mentioned here, and I would like this to be corrected. Paragraph 2.
We have passed that, but we can look at it again, and I call on the Rapporteur. That is accepted by the Rapporteur General. With the change suggested, I take it that paragraphs 25 to 32 are approved, and then move to paragraphs 33 to 36. No, we've done that. 33 to 36. What? That does it. If there are no comments, and I take paragraph 33 to 36 are accepted, and I take it that it's the wish of the conference to adopt paragraphs 1 to 36. If there's no further comment, it is so decided. We're back on a good time schedule. Does the Secretary have any announcements?
I have one.
The Secretary General, Mr. Peñalosa, has an announcement to make.
Mr. President, distinguished delegates, in Committee Number 1, I said that we should make full use of audiovisual materials, the materials that have been brought by countries to Vancouver. I also said that it's necessary to have the negatives of the audiovisual materials and also the copyrights which have already been requested from countries. I now would like to urge delegates who have not yet had a chance to give the certificates to the Secretariat that have been requested. And I would also, this is directed just to delegates who intend to do this. And before you leave Vancouver, please do so. This would help us make good use of the time available. This could be done today or any time tomorrow. Ms. Barbara James, telephone number 689-6324 will be available to you at that number. Delegations who intend to hand in their copyrights before they leave Vancouver are requested to do so. That would make the job of the United Nations much easier. It will, after all, have a great deal to do in preparing, in using this audiovisual material after the conference. Thank you very much.
Peñalosa, the distinguished representative of Madagascar wished to make a statement.
Merci.
Thank you, Mr. President. Allow me to join all the delegations who have come to the Vancouver Conference to congratulate you on the behalf of the Madagascar delegation, and also to thank the host government, to congratulate the Secretary General and the Preparatory Committee for the almost perfect documents which were presented to the Vancouver Conference. The statement which the Madagascar government wants to state will deal with 3 points. The Madagascar delegation regrets that the definition given to the term human settlements is too restrictive. By describing it solely as habitat, we believe, sir, that human settlements mean everything which man has to do, must to do, and will do in order to come into harmony with nature first of all. Then, the second point deals with what has been called at the Vancouver Conference the inalienable right of peoples, and we believe, Mr. President, that the right cannot be any higher than that of the economic level of civilization which belongs to a country. For us, this is a problem of the relationship between the development of productive forces and production within a country. We believe that human settlements must have as their primary goal the establishment of a communal way of living from which all types of exploitation must be banned. Internationally speaking, I'm recalling simply the results of the UNCTAD conference which was held
En ce qui concerne
in Nairobi. As regards the audiovisual components, the Madagascar delegation wishes to express its deep gratitude to the host government for having been kind enough to organize a library for everything which has been produced at Vancouver. We believe, sir, that regardless of what speech we talk about, no matter how clear and descriptive it may be, it cannot better express the realities of a country. Provided, of course, that these are very sincerely expressed realities. In any event, sir, the audiovisual component at Vancouver has made it possible for us to have our countries made known, to have us understand one another, to appreciate one another better, and who knows, maybe it will enable us to love one another more. But in any case, sir, what we appreciate most of all, sir, in these audiovisual presentations was the know-how shown by the films. Know-how which is specific to each country, but which possibly could be transferred from one country to another in conformity with the specific requirements of each country. It is our belief that the know-how is the intelligent use of all the knowledge which man has accumulated over the centuries. In conclusion, Mr. President, in recalling the origin of this conference, which was the population explosion on our planet, and therefore connected with the Bucharest Conference, allow me,
quelle est la télévision du pauvre?
and we can talk about this puzzle which has been exposed for us. Thank you, sir.
I thank the distinguished delegate of Madagascar. If there are no other announcements or statements, I declare this meeting adjourned. And we meet again at 3 o'clock.
Okay, 26, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll go to 27 now.
1. Doesn't work. Okay.
One, two. Take it off. Take it off. No, he can't. No, he's done. Serge,
Yeah, it's work. Whoops.
take it off. Switch it off temporarily.
27.
Just
You want to switch it back on? What number is that? Yeah?
Can you hear us on 26, 27?
No.
Okay.
switch the other one off. Switch them both off.